Welcome to Bookish Babble.
Welcome back to the podcast, guys. Today we are going to be talking about Lost Stars by Claudia Gray.
It's not a very well-known book.
It's not.
No,
It's almost niche.
It was really hard to find, too.
Yeah, it was.
But if you're a big Star Wars fan, or even if you're not, I would say this book is for you.
Yes.
Yes.
It was
It's a very nice romance.
and it was an
Yes.
easy read, too.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy read. And again, like I said, if you do love Star Wars, again, we're saying spoilers. If you have not, I almost said watch. If you have not read it,
That too.
go pick it up. It is a really good book.
Yes.
I love the mention of like all the characters like Darth Vader.
Luke Skywalker.
yeah.
Skywalker, Princess
Leia.
Leia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the
All-
planets, and it was,
Right.
Alderaan?
it was set in, the main timeline of the original trilogy.
Yes.
So
Right,
it
because then
was
they bring up
know,
when they're fighting in the
Battle
snow.
of Endor. Oh, yes, the Battle of Hoth.
Thank you. I
Yes,
couldn't think of the name.
oh my
I was like, what is
God.
that planet? But I love that there was a lot of references to Star Wars, and it's like,
Yes.
oh, that Luke Skywalker guy, and it's like, hey,
Hey.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was really interesting to see like a parallel that while the main storyline was going on, there was an entirely other story happening like
Yes.
during the events of, the main,
Right. Yeah.
Star Wars
Well,
trilogy.
what I thought was cool was, like going off of that, the fact that because if you have seen the original trilogy, you can place these events
Yes.
on a cohesive timeline.
Yes.
You're like, oh, that just happened, so this is coming up.
Yes, and like how much time is passing
Exactly.
between events.
Yeah.
yeah. And I feel like when I was reading it, I was trying to decide like, not like who I would have been, because the one character, the girl, she goes for the Empire.
Yeah.
But like her whole life, her and the other main character, the guy, were like,
Thane Kyrell.
yeah.
Thane
I'm so
Kyrell.
bad with names.
I almost forgot the name.
Yeah.
I know.
Thane Kyrell. Yes.
Ciena.
Yes,
Keep-
Ciena and
Ree.
Yeah.
Thane Kyrell.
Yeah.
I just said Sienna Ray,
Yeah.
but it's actually like, it's not Sienna. It's like, I don't know, something stupid. I found that bootleg.
Something stupid.
I
I
found
know
that
what you're talking
bootleg
about.
audiobook where it said it weird, and I'm like, I like it the other way.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's fine. But they're both trying to get into the Empire because they didn't know that they were bad. And then after, they make that one planet explode, the guy's like, these are bad people. Like, what are we doing?
No, I
here?
thought it was really interesting because, like, obviously when you're watching the original trilogy, it's very black and white, like the good guys and the bad guys.
Yes.
But
very
coming
much.
now from a different perspective of just civilians that only know what it's like to live under the Empire, and they believe that it's good, and they believe that it's, they're fighting for them and like for their planet. And it was really convincing to be like, if I was in these shoes, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, the rebels are the good guys and the Empire's the bad guys. Like, from their point of view, that the rebels were terrorists and they were terrorizing like the peace that the Empire was trying to bring.
Yeah.
And it made I'm not saying I would be for the Empire, but it made a really convincing argument that yes, someone could grow up their whole life and not be like, I know I'm fighting on the wrong side of the war.
Yeah.
Like they
Right.
truly believe that their efforts were genuine and good.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
I think it's also interesting us growing up with the perspective. I assume we all saw Star Wars growing up, right? So growing up, you are on the point of view of the rebels, so
Yeah.
you always associate the good with the rebels. Reading a
Right.
book like this that for a very long time is told from the point of view of a person who truly believes the Empire is the good guys and rebels are terrorists, it was very, very hard to get into that mindset because
Yes.
I know what I know.
Yes.
But reading it, I'm just like, wow, these people really have no idea that they're being brainwashed.
And I liked it though because, again, like you said, we saw that, the rebels were the good guys in the movies. So it's interesting to see that, people in the Empire were just normal people.
Yes.
And it's like,
And they
wow.
had like a good intention. Like
Yeah.
Ciena had really good intentions. It was just, unfortunate that the Empire would take advantage of that. And like they were normal civilian people that thought they were just supporting a good cause or, getting a good job.
Yes. It was an honorable thing to do.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, it's just crazy. But if that's how you grew up, that makes sense to be
Mhm.
like, oh, okay, that makes, What did you guys end up rating this book? What's
If I think I did end up putting it at like a 4. Really,
that's
I
what I
kind
did.
of would sit at a 3.5, but you can't really do half points on Goodreads.
Oh, I do it all the time. I just put
Put
it
it
in
in the
parentheses.
comments.
Yeah.
Right. Let me see. Oh, I actually gave it 5 stars.
I never updated my progress on the book.
Hey!
right now.
I actually ended
Girl.
up giving it 5 stars.
Let me see. I'm gonna say.
I mean, it was really good. I just forgot what I gave it, but it's fine.
I gave it.
It's at 4 stars for me.
I clicked 4 stars, but I did 3.999
Wow.
stars. Should we read
Paige is
the
that
review?
girl.
Hey,
It's okay.
should we read the reviews that we left for it if we left one?
I did not read a review.
You can say
I
it
can
right
verbally-
now.
What's your review right now, Katie?
I liked it. No, I thought it, again, like what I said before, I thought it was interesting to see a different perspective of like it that there were stories to be told other than the main Luke Skywalker story.
Yes.
That there was other stakes involved. There was other things happening behind the scenes besides like Luke Skywalker blew up the Death Star and he won this battle on Hoth and he flew in the Millennium Falcon. Like it was different because there was other like people at play, that things happened not necessarily because of the main storyline but alongside it. And there was things that like like how Thane Kyrell drove the snowspeeder to take down the AT-AT, like that's like a whole story in itself being told alongside the main story. So I really appreciated that. And I really, I enjoyed just seeing that the people in this book were human.
yes.
They had just normal activities. They were
Yeah.
going out to the bar at the end of their work shift. They were hitting the gym, like just normal everyday things that I didn't think about. I thought, from my perspective, watching the movie growing up, that they're all these mindless soldiers that are like
24/7.
like anything you want, Lord Vader, and just like
Yeah.
were completely expendable, and know that there was stakes and that they were real people with real feelings
and doubt
and
started to creep in.
yeah. So I think that's why I liked it, because it made like that universe feel even more real to me.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun kind of seeing the other side and like you said, the normalcy when we just think like, oh, they work and then they go to bed and then they wake up and do that all over again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it wasn't
they-
like that. They're like, oh, I have a shift tomorrow from this time to this time.
Yeah.
It's like,
Treat
Can you
shifts with
cover my
me. Yeah,
shift?
cover
Yeah,
my
yeah,
shift.
yeah, like
I'm gonna take sick leave. Like it was just
yeah.
And they have a
then-
cafeteria. They eat food and
Yes.
drink water.
Well, okay. They didn't really eat food. They had
Yeah,
like
the protein
nutritious
drink.
milk because you couldn't be weak eating bread.
Yeah.
It happens.
Bitch, I would. It don't matter. I would still opt for the food. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Smoothies make my tummy hurt.
Yeah.
I know y'all totally
Sure.
needed that information. But no, I liked getting to read it with like knowledge of the franchise when you see the Millennium Falcon and like Han Solo or Chewie or a Wookiee in general
Yes.
show up, and the name dropping of all these other characters that you're like, I know them. I know who that is.
It makes me feel cool.
Yeah. It makes me feel like I'm in the know.
Yes.
Of the story.
Yes.
So I really enjoyed it. I don't know about y'all, but during most of the battles that were happening, I was literally picturing the scene from the movie just
Yes.
with different people.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Now, but something I did appreciate, to piggyback off what you're saying, is even though I knew of the characters and like what was happening plot wise, I appreciated so much that it just didn't get like the Skywalker treatment. Cause like I know they say this about Rey, that they're like, finally a spin-off like of a different story, and at the end of the day, oh, she's a Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like
No,
I'm
I
happy
agree.
that it wasn't like halfway through the book and Luke Skywalker showed up and we were best friends, like that kind of treatment where just like those notable characters come in and just like now take charge of the story.
Yes.
really
I
the
was
only
so scared
person
that was gonna happen.
like really in it was Darth Vader.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which obviously makes sense because we're talking about the Empire.
Yeah, we had like an
This,
inside scoop on the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love Darth Vader. He's my favorite character. So I was like, give me more.
Yeah.
You need Jesus.
No.
I'm joking. No, he's all dark
Skylar
and
has
mysterious.
a crush on Darth Vader.
I do.
Not Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Very
I think
different.
Oprah-
James Earl Jones. that
Moment of silence.
Miss that guy.
R.I.P.
We actually did moment of silence. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. He just looks cool.
Yeah,
That's like Kylo Ren. Like the actor, like All right.
You don't like Adam Driver?
Put that mask on and you're good.
Okay.
I'm weird. It's fine.
It's okay.
It's fine.
But I enjoyed the book. The reason it was lower for me is because I forgot I was reading it.
Because you were reading other stuff at the same time.
Exactly. And I was reading it on my Kindle in between things. And then the other series I was reading was picking up. Like
you were reading Crave, right?
I was reading Crave. But I was reading Crave at the time, and I was in the middle of the book Covet and like switching back and forth between Covet and Lost Stars. Like I would literally read Lost Stars when I went to the bathroom, and then Covet I would do everywhere else because it was an audiobook. So I didn't have a lot of time to read Lost Stars, but eventually Covet started picking up, and I was like, okay, I really just want to get through this so I can get to my other stuff.
That's fair.
So I finished the rest of the Crave series, and then moved on to other books after the Crave series, and I was like, oh shit, I'm still reading Lost Stars. Like, it was forgettable enough for me to be like, And the center of the book, it was just a little slow for me. But once we got to the action, I was like, I'm back.
It's funny. I thought the beginning of the book was slow for me.
That was too.
Okay.
I won't lie.
Yeah.
Once
That's the hardest part for me to read, I feel
once we got to the academy, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
story is storying.
And it's crazy, like you find out that the Empire was trying to make the two characters like pretty much hate each other.
Yeah, they pitted them
And
against
they
each
were,
other.
they were sabotaging them and everything.
Yeah.
Oh my
I was
god, they
like,
tried to frame her for sabotaging his thing.
Yes.
Assignment, yeah.
His
Isn't that
canon.
crazy? I just
Well,
remember
because
that.
they want their,
Their
soldiers
loyal
to be
Yeah.
so loyal that they would doubt themselves and doubt each other and only, trust and serve the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when
I
you
thought
have
that
no
was
friend
wild.
connections, you have nobody else to bounce your ideas off of and possibly go down the rabbit hole of doubting what you believe in.
Yeah.
But by separating them, they just wanted mindless soldiers. They also didn't want people to have strong ties to their homeland.
Yeah.
And that was just another way for them to be able to break their connection back to their home
Yes.
planet
Yeah,
of
especially when
Jellican?
they blew up.
Jellican.
Yeah, when they blew up the one planet.
Alderaan.
Yeah. And
Nash.
Nash is from there, and he
Yeah.
was like,
All distraught.
what the heck is going
Yeah.
on? But he was so loyal to the Empire that he's like, okay, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna soak a little bit, but like pretend I'm not. And I'm like,
I
okay.
used to really feel for Nash's character. Like, I didn't like him during college because he was a snob.
Yeah.
And then I liked him when they were finally in the Empire because he was, like, humanized.
Yeah.
And then after the explosion, and he kind of just went all gung-ho into the Empire, I was like...
Especially because he was sad about Ciena's death.
Yeah.
But she didn't really
die.
Yeah.
But I heard, because I asked AJ about it, I was like, are they writing is there another one out?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently she was supposed to write more, but it kind of just like
Fell off.
fell off.
That's so unfortunate because I was promised this was a standalone, and I get to the end, and I'm like,
And
this
it's a
is
cliffhanger?
this
Yes.
is setting up a sequel.
Technically,
Yes.
What
it
is happening?
Technically, it is a standalone, but it was supposed to not be a standalone.
Yeah. It's up for
That's the
interpretation.
problem.
Claudia
Yes.
Gray, it sounds like you need to open a Wattpad account and post.
Literally, she writes so many.
I know, yeah.
And AJ's read so many. He's like, oh, you guys should read this one and this one. And I'm like, all right.
I can't do this to myself again.
Yeah, relax.
Yeah.
I'll watch the movies.
Yeah.
But what I liked about these characters is there truly was no connection to, like, Luke Skywalker, Leia, like you had said before.
Right.
Because in the movies, when she's like, Rey Skywalker,
Yeah.
I damn near almost walked out of the
we
theater.
thought it was going to be its own story.
Yeah, we
and
were like,
its
oh,
own adventure,
great.
and then it's like, and we're doing tie-ins
Yeah,
to
yeah, she's
milk
related
this
to-
cash cow.
Yeah, she's related
Yeah.
to Palpatine. I
Yeah.
just wanted a normal character that
Yes.
was important without being related to the original characters. And that's what this was. You feel for other people in the world that don't actually have
And there-
connections
and there
other than, like,
wasn't-
passing by.
There
Right.
wasn't anything significant about their characters at all. They're not the chosen one. They weren't.
They were
they
regular
were
people.
normal
They
people.
were
And
just there.
I
Yeah.
still felt for. I know they say, oh, you gotta add stakes. Someone has to have like the main character energy. Like when it comes to film,
Yeah.
you have to have like the underdog story or the chosen hero or
You need a
you
clear
know-
vision of who to root for.
Yes, this I was fine rooting and trust and like being on the edge of my seat for stakes that weren't that large. Whether or not she was gonna get a promotion, like those stakes, like were still enticing to me.
Right,
and they
'cause it's
didn't
like-
have main character energy.
Because it's like their life.
Yeah.
whether or not, like you're saying, you know, they were part of the Skywalker legacy or not, which obviously they weren't. But it's interesting, like, you know, that was important to her to get the promotion and to like move up in rank and stuff. And you're like, oh my God, is she gonna get there? And it's like,
maybe that's why it was so slow in the beginning, because the author wanted us to understand like they're human and follow their progression of their life story, as opposed to being like, you're the chosen one, here's all this information about how you need to overcome the Empire, and like,
oh yeah, because we grow up with them because they were kids in the beginning of the books, and you see their friendship actually like grow, and it doesn't seem forced, which is nice. So overall, I really enjoyed the book.
It was really good. That's why I said too, like, if you've never seen Star Wars, I feel like this is still a book you can read.
It was, if I were to classify, would you say it was a lovers to enemies to back to lovers, like, kind of?
Yeah.
It was like friends to enemies, back to friends,
to lovers,
but
also enemies,
to enemies, back to lovers / enemies. Because that's right, at the very end he saves her when she doesn't want to be saved.
Yeah, she'd rather go down with her ship.
Yeah, and now I'm pissed because Ciena is still rotting in that damn dungeon, and we never know what the hell happens if they ever get their actual happily ever after.
Yeah,
I think that's what really differentiated this from other romance books for me, was you
know.
don't know if they got the happily ever after.
Yeah, because he's like, I think she'll get out of there, but then we don't know. I think that if she ended up writing the next book, I think eventually, I feel we would know, and I feel like eventually she would have gotten out.
I don't know. I don't think so.
She might have either died, or do you think she would have joined the rebellion?
No.
Do you think she?
I think, for me personally, I think that she would have gotten out, and I think she would have joined the rebellion to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe if she wrote another book after that, I feel like Nash would have found out that she's still alive and that she joined the rebellion. It would have been like this whole like crazy thing, because he was like in love with her. Cause he, you know,
little creep.
Yeah,
it happens. But it happens. But I think that that's what have happened personally.
I don't know, because they made that pact with each other that like, I promise leave the rebellion, and if you promise leave the Empire, for us to be together. Like, she was so adamant on not joining the rebellion just because like she's so loyal to what she believes in, and even if what she believes in is failing her, it is not in her nature to like quit.
Yeah, I wonder if she might have become like a spy for the Empire because her allegiance is still there, but joins the rebellion.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better.
And then it's like, and then it's like her trusting her heart versus like her duty.
Yeah,
that's been a huge theme in this book.
Yeah, she would have to choose between Thane, like love, and duty and honor.
Yeah,
and she had chose him once, and then had chosen him again.
And she told herself she'd never do it again.
Yeah, which means
she loved him too much.
Yeah, they really did love each other.
Yeah.
I'm also a huge fan of the fade to black scenes.
Yeah,
because I hate reading it. So the fact that it was just fading to black, I think the word sex appeared in this book twice.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it was in reference to what had already transpired.
Yep.
It was a nice kiss on the forehead.
Fade to black.
Fade to black. I was like, okay. ...
That's literally what it was. It was like ...
I feel like that book didn't need all of that. You
it's
know?
a Star Wars book. It's
like,
not. That's not that audience.
Yeah, they're not looking for that, which is fine. I didn't need it. I loved how that. Yeah, I just loved that too.
Maybe Skylar needed it. This book.
No, I get enough in Chestnut Springs. Okay.
Oh my God! Right?
I know.
That's a whole other episode.
Just spitballing. I really did enjoy it. Like I said, I liked the mention of characters that we know. I also like that there were characters we didn't know, and we followed their story and we learned more about the Empire. I thought it was very creatively done. I liked that it wasn't just your typical romance or kind of Star Wars type thing. And like I said before, I feel like anybody can read it. It's a really just like quick, easy read as well. But yeah, that's like my review on it. I think it was really good. I gave it 5 stars. So
you give everything 5 stars.
Not everything.
Okay. The one book she gave 4 stars.
I gave 3.5 stars to a book that I read recently.
It was Bride, wasn't it?
No, Percy
No.
Jackson. I gave 3.5 stars.
No
Sorry.
taste.
We'll
Your
talk
turn.
about that later.
I can't wait for her to tell me she likes the movies better than the
Well, I saw the movies in middle school.
All right.
They were good. I was like, all right.
Sidetracking.
Anyway.
My review, I rated it.
Your review is hilarious.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay. Real quick, I'm gonna read the notes that I had because I read it on my Kindle, so I
Yeah.
highlighted stuff and then wrote.
Those were good. When those would pop up, I'd be like, all right.
So, the
Sorry,
quote,
burp.
the quote
Wow.
that I.
Anyway.
The quote that I highlighted was, "Me, I'm Nash Winrider from Alderaan, and my father makes carpets. Impressed yet?" And I just wrote,
Wow.
LOL, love him for that.
Wow.
And then I highlighted, "Your accuracy scores are already above average for our class." And I wrote, "Welp, that would explain why most stormtroopers can't aim for shit, LOL."
Wow.
And then I highlighted, "The Empire would never strike back." And I said, LOL, love that movie. And then the last highlight was, "I'm going to rescue you whether you like it or not." And I just said, love that.
Yeah.
And it was towards the end, obviously, when
Yeah,
she
when
didn't
she-
want to
yeah.
leave. But my review actually was 3.999 stars. I enjoyed the story. However, while I was reading the middle of it, I had completely forgot that I was reading the book until the other day. It just lost me in the middle, dragged on for a little too long. However, the beginning and end were amazing. The only thing that's holding it back from a full 4-star review is the long break that I took while not really missing the story. The middle being a bit boring brought it down in ratings for me as well. Also, I hate long chapters. Sorry, not story. Not sorry, but overall, I loved the book.
I found this really... Sorry, I'm staying on my wire. I found this really funny one. It's a 2-star review.
Mm-hmm.
This is super unpopular opinion. Oof. But I just didn't care about the characters at all. I actually hated one of them and could not see how the other character even liked them. LOL.
Wow.
This person, they read it from January 10th to January 30th. I feel
Took
like
him a whole month.
it took them a long time. They probably really didn't like it. I mean, again,
Yeah.
2 stars.
I think it's funny when you see a book with like, I'm looking at like the 1-star reviews right now. When you don't like a book, it's one thing if you don't like it and you're poking fun at it. It's another thing when you're saying like, it feels like an 8-year-old wrote it, because like, not objectively, but like the writing is good. That's like a fact. Like that could be factual. But I don't like it when they're like, it's like an 8-year-old wrote it, because it's not. Like that makes me mad when people like don't have anything, when they don't have like a real critique to say.
Yeah. I
There's
find that the people that normally say, like, it feels like an 8-year-old wrote it, I feel like those are the people that normally read more scholarly writing.
Yes.
And they're not good with just, down for a good time vibes for a
Yeah.
book.
And that's what I lost the review now, but that's what somebody wrote in the comment section. They were like, well, you must like, read like Grapes of Wrath and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
My favorite book is Grapes of Wrath. Oh, okay.
But
For you.
it is so crazy though how different people's like what they like to read.
Yes.
We could literally sit here right now and be like, this is my favorite genre, and like it probably mostly would be different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is kind of crazy. But that's why reviews, you have to just read it for yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this one
It's not
says
the one
this
star.
one says it's Twilight on Star Wars context.
Wow.
Slay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's long.
Oh, no.
But it's a 1-star review, and it just starts, "Warning, full rage ahead."
Yeah, I saw that one.
Oh my god.
I'm not going to read the rest, but that line just got me.
I gave it 1 stars I gave 1 stars to Divergent and Hunger Games, and I considered the film Titanic as 194 minutes of my life wasted. In short, I'm not the target audience for this book. However, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Okay, and then she goes on to like rant, this person.
A lot of people are comparing it to
Wow.
Hunger Games.
Whoa.
Yeah, but I didn't get that vibe at all.
I didn't either.
I didn't either. And it's weird because they were like, well, I rated Hunger Games like 1 star too, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
Okay.
what's going on?
I would consider this more along the lines of, I'm trying to think of like other stories, and this might be a stretch,
Mhm.
but I would consider it along the lines of things like maybe even like the Renegade series or something, where it's like more academy based, like, you know what I mean, like that
Yeah.
that like progression of character like that instead of like Hunger Games like being thrown like I would consider like powerless like Hunger Games.
Yes,
Like that throwing into a pit and
that
like
was genuinely Hunger Games
that
inspired.
was, yes. Like that element. Like they I don't know, it's a stretch to say Hunger Games because they were getting training. It was more like a coming of age upbringing type story as opposed to like feeding you to the wolves and like they're falling in love and surviving together. Like,
did you read Renegades yet?
No, but I know like I know a lot about it.
The plot, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like thinking like no, and then I was thinking like you're reading a point of view from somebody from the Renegades and you're reading the point of view of somebody from the Anarchists.
Yes.
So you are right in that. Okay.
I'm saying that was a stretch for me to say that, but like that like progression of like training and character building and like all of that. You know what I mean?
I get it.
Hunger Games and Divergent and Powerless is a different category. In
Still
my
gotta
head.
read those. Hunger Games and
Divergent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the movies. Well,
I never saw the movies either.
What?
I don't know how that
You didn't have that phase of your life where you're like, yes, I want weird, like, I want shirtless men and fighting for my life, and I'm different and quirky, and I'm, like, this underdog character. That was, like, a whole, like, arc to, like, every middle school girl.
So I'll say I saw a ton of the girls around me carrying around those books and talking about those books, but that was
Even
also
like
during
Twilight,
I know, but during that phase of my life, I was not into reading because school had genuinely ruined it for me.
Okay.
Because every book they made us read for school, even summer reading, they were all such ass. They were so.
Did you guys have to read
No.
Johnny Tremaine?
No.
If you like that book, we're not friends.
Oh my gosh.
That book, I actually cried because of how terrible it was. It was so god
My eyes were
awful.
bleeding.
My mom tried reading it to me and she's like, this is terrible.
Wow.
My grandpa tried reading it to me. He's like, why would you read this? It was the worst book I've ever read in my entire life. I don't know why they thought a 5th grader going into 6th grade would enjoy that monstrosity. It was so bad.
We had to read, I don't remember like the books themselves.
That's my piece.
But like I remember the books we had to read, our literacy teachers were like it was like weird YA books that it like at least for my grade was like that it was like weird like hidden message like young adult, like there was one I don't remember the name of it, and now I'm gonna have to find it, but it was like about like a girl and her mother surviving the apocalypse, and the whole time I'm like, this is great, I want to know about the apocalypse and like how to survive and like why are they what happened, like what is the events that led to the apocalypse. No, the whole thing was just like a metaphor for like her going through like puberty. By the end of by the end of the book, it was, I was like, no, I want to know if they've survived. Like, no, but it was really about like her emotions, and like she meets a boy in the middle of the apocalypse, and it was really about like her feeling like she was in an apocalypse. And I was like, no, I want like an actual apocalypse. Like,
That sounds awful.
I know.
I'm so sorry.
I just
Like
have to
those are the
say-
kind of books I was reading.
Yeah, but like summer reading.
I know. And then you had
That
to do like the cereal box like project.
God.
Yes, you had to create
I
a
just have to say
scene.
really quick, I looked up Johnny Tremaine. It has mostly 4 stars, and people are like, why did I only rate this 3 stars? This is 5. This is a masterpiece. I'm like, what did you read?
So a lot of the books that are in the curriculum, a lot of them are really, really old, like from an older curriculum for
It's by Esther
school.
Forbes.
Okay. Old
Anyway,
name.
I'm sorry. It just
No.
makes me mad.
You're fine, but like
People are like, why did they make kids read this? This is not a kid's
I'm
book.
trying to find
it's
this book
not,
now.
but it's a matter of teaching them literature and older literature.
No, I'm trying to find this apocalypse one.
Oh, I'm like, Johnny Tremaine, let's talk about it.
No, let's not.
Let's never. Ugh, look how boring it looks.
That actually looks pretty cool. Watch me be like,
Can
this is amazing.
Can you read it so we can? I'm not
We can talk
rereading
about
that
it?
ever again.
Okay.
But I
Wait,
would love to rant
You
about
might
it.
actually enjoy it through the eyes of an adult.
No,
Okay.
I don't think after that experience.
Okay, yeah. No,
I-
believe me, I get it. There are so
No.
many books as a kid that, like, I look back on fondly now, but I fucking hated reading it. Like,
Yeah.
Lemonade Wars, Frindle. Anyone
Oh,
remember that?
Frindle.
Frindle.
Good
I went to a
times.
bookstore to the kids section. I saw it there. I was like, oh my God, it's still here.
We're still reading it.
I dreaded reading that book. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it was so awful.
Aw, crazy.
Yeah.
Good times.
I
We're
only
old now.
I only liked reading the Magic Tree House.
I never read those books.
Me
They were,
either.
they were cute. Very short.
Yeah.
But
I read a lot of mystery when I was little.
Yeah.
I like thriller.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I haven't really read any thriller now, but I feel like maybe I'll like it. Like I
Or
really,
else some good R.L. Stein books.
yeah, I read some of those. I really
I
want to
never read any of the Goosebumps books.
I want to read
cover
Good Girl's
scared
Guide
me.
to Murder.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
October's
next.
like a good month for that.
Spookily, yeah.
That's next for me.
I also want to do Binding 13
Mm-hmm.
because I heard that's like
Yeah,
a little.
I'm excited to read
Darker.
that one too.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Johnny Tremaine.
no,
No.
no, just no. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Bookish Babble. We had a lot of fun talking about Lost Stars, and I feel like we collectively really liked the book. So
Yes.
Yeah.
let us know in the comments if you've read it, if you want to read it because we've talked about it and all that fun stuff. Make sure to follow us, social media, and everything is down below. Is there anything else I'm missing? No?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Subscribe, all that fun stuff. We love y'all. We will see you next week on Bookish Babble.
Yes.
All right.
Great.
Bye, guys.
Bye.